Hello everyone, this is Harshit. Welcome to our channel BTech Guide. In the last video, we have installed Anaconda Navigator and launched the Jupyter Notebook, and we've also created a Python file in Jupyter Notebook. So now we will see some more programming. From here on, things are gonna get more interesting. So stay tuned and do watch till the end. In case you have not installed Anaconda Navigator, do watch the previous video so that you can be ready with Jupyter Notebook for this video. So let's get started. In this video, what we are going to learn are some data types supported by Python, what are the operations we do in Python, and how to take user inputs. User input means instead of assigning the variables values directly through the program, we will be giving the values during the runtime. So what are some do's and don'ts while assigning a variable? So variables are nothing but these are the containers for holding data. So variable name always starts with underscore or any of the letters, uppercase or lowercase, and we must not start any variable with a number or any other special characters. Although we can have numbers after the first letter, but special characters are strictly not allowed during variable declaration. So these are some things to remember, that variable names are always case sensitive, that is uppercase and lowercase are two different things in here, and variable names always contain only alphanumeric characters and underscores, as we've seen in this slide. So these are some of the data types in Python. Python supports these primitive data types like integer, float, double, string. Float is nothing but some decimal points. Double is a larger version of float. String is alphabets and numerics together. And we will discuss about these other types, that is lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries, boolean, etc. in another video. So let's get started to declare the data types now. So here I've already opened Jupyter and I've already created the file, so I can just access my file over here. So here we have declared a variable with a capital letter, that is uppercase letter, is equal to 20. If we print the type of we have the method called type of variable. So here we have type of A. When we type print type of A, we get class int. So this is of type integer. And when here we have also declared it with an lowercase letter a. So these are both two different things. So we got 30 and 20. And here again we printed a, we get 30. And here we have changed the variable name, that is a is equal to 23. And if we print the type of a, again it will print a int. So now we have just typecasted it into float, that is we've changed the type from int to float. So we get 23.0. Earlier we got only 23, now we got 23.0. So if we convert it into string, we get a string. We can't see any differences from int and string, but they are very different. So here are some types how we declare a variable and how we should not declare a variable. We can start our variable with underscore and include underscore anywhere in the variable, and the variable name should never contain any spaces. So here we have declared underscore a underscore with 10, and we press shift enter, it does not show any errors. And again here we have included a number after the first alphabet. So here a1 is equal to 2.33 and shift enter, it does not show any error. And here we have given uppercase a underscore 1 high, that is a string. So this is also prints no error. And here we have assigned it with a boolean value. Boolean values contain only of true and false, that's all. So a is equal to true we have given here. So here it shows no error, but here we have started our variable name with a number, that is 1. So this is going to throw an error like this. So see, it says invalid syntax. So we can never have a number in the starting of a variable. So here we have included a special character like question mark in here. So this is also going to throw an error like invalid syntax. So here we have assigned a string again. Type of a, we give, if we print type of a, it is going to print as string. And these are the lists as we have seen earlier. Just to give a little glance, lists are nothing but it holds a group of data in one variable. It can contain multiple data types. So we have, and lists are also always enclosed in square brackets, do remember that. If we print type of ls now, we get as class list. And if we print ls, we get 1 hello 2.456 and by, as we have already declared it here. And tuples are always enclosed in circular brackets. This is called a tuple, and a tuple cannot be changed once it is initialized. So here if we type of TP we get as class tuple, so it is of type tuple, and we print the tuple, it is enclosed in circular brackets. And here is a set. A set is nothing but we have already learned in our previous schooling. It does not allow any duplicate values. So here we have given 1, 2, 3, hello, hello. We have given hello 2 times and 2.33 2 times. If we print the type of ST, we get it as class set. And if we print the set, these duplicate values are given only once, as we can see here. 2.33 is printed only once, and hello is printed only once. And this is a dictionary. In dictionary we can have our own indexes. These are the left side of the column is called as key, and the right side is known as value. So the 1 will have a value ABC, 2 will have a value 4, 3.3 will have a value GHI, and our RTY will have a value JKL. If we print the type of DCT, we get class DCT. If we print the DCT of RTY, that is over here, this of this key, then we get the value JKL. And if we print DCT of 2, so we have here 2, DCT of 2 is 4 as we have given here. So till now we have seen the data types in Python, and now we will go through operations supported by Python. Here are the different operations supported by Python. These are it supports arithmetic operators that we already know, plus, minus. This is asterisk is for multiplication, forward slash is for float division, and this is for floor division. This is for modulus, and this is for exponentiation, that is power. And these are the assignment operators. We will see meaning of all of these during execution so that you will understand much easily. It supports logical operators like and, or, not. It supports comparison operators like greater than, less than, equal to, and greater than, equal to, etc. It supports identity operators like is not. These are similar to here double equal to, and is not is similar to not equal to. And here we also have membership operators like in, not in. These are used mainly for lists and sets, etc. And these are the bitwise operators that perform the operations by converting the values into bits, that is binary bits, and then they perform the operator on each of the bit. So let's get into the operations in Python. Here, these are the arithmetic operators. We have just initialized a with 12, b with 24. Now we print addition, a plus b, as we know, and then subtraction, multiplication, division. When we divide 12 by 24, we always get a float value, that is 0.5 over here. So if we want to get only an integer value, we can do the floor division over here. If we give two double slashes, if we give double slashes, we get as 0. It reduces the value, rounds off to the lower value of the integer. So this is the exponent a power b, that is 12 power 24. It is a huge number, so we cannot know if it is correct or not. So I have given a smaller number like 3 power 4, it gives 81, so it is correct. And modulus is nothing but it gives us the remainder by dividing a with b over here. Since a is smaller than b, it gives the value of the dividend, that is a, that is 12. So if we divide b with a, that is 24 with 12, we get the remainder 0 because it is perfectly divisible by 12. Now to the assignment operators, this is nothing but just assigning the values as we have done earlier. This is nothing but a is equal to 5. Over here we printed a, we get the value 5. Now we have a plus equal to 5. It means that we are, before assigning the value of 2 directly, we are incrementing the previous value of a with 2 and then assigning the total result to a. So 5 plus 2, we get 7. Here it's printed 7. The same like that, it is decremented by 1, so we get 6. Multiply by 2, 6 into 2 is 12, and divide by 2, that is 6. This is assignment operators. Now when we go to logical operators, we just given some boolean value so that we can understand much simply. Logical operators are mainly used in control flow statements like if and elif, which we will learn in the later videos. Here we have just taken print so that we can know if they are correct or not. And these are similar to our logical gates as we have seen in our earlier classes in electronics. So if we have initialized a with true and b with false, and we print a and b. A and b will print true only when both the values are true, otherwise it will be printing false. So we have gotten false here. If we print a or b, we get true, because if either one of them is true, it is gonna be true. And not is nothing but the opposite of the result which we have here. So a and b is false, so opposite of false is true. So when we go next, here we have the comparison operators. we have initialized some values over here. A is equal to 12, B is equal to 13, C is equal to 12, and D is equal to 13 again. So when we print A is greater than B, it just says if it is false or true. Here we give 12 greater than 13. Is that true? False. So it says false. Now again we print A less than B, that is 12 less than 13? Yes, it is true, so it prints true. Is A greater than or equal to C, that is 12 greater than or equal to 12? So it is true, it prints true. The same like that, we complete all of these and print A not equal to B. That means if it sees if A is not equal to B, that's all. It is, since it is not equal, it prints true. And this here we have print print B double equal to D. So if it prints if both are equal, if both the values are equal, it prints true, as we have here, it is true. Now these are the identity operators. We can see from the older one, A is 12 and B is 13. If we print A is B, it prints false because A and B are not same. And if we print A is not B, it prints the opposite of the previous one, that is true. And here are the membership operators. As we have discussed, these are used mainly in lists, sets, etc. Here we have taken a set which contains a set of strings A, B, C, D and E. If we print the string A in ls, if it checks if this value is present there in the list or not. If it is there, it prints true, otherwise it will print false. Just like here we have print f in ls. Since f is not there over here, it prints false. And if we print f not in ls, so it says directly, we can understand just by seeing f is not in ls, so it prints true. And now we are moving to the final part, that is the bitwise operators. We have given directly zeros and ones so that we can understand easily. We can also take some other numbers like 50 and 20, so on, so that I have taken 0 and 1 so that you can understand much easily. Here see, if we print A and B, just the normal, it performs the normal AND operation. So 0 and 1 means it gives us 0. And here we have OR operation. This symbol we can get it above our enter key by pressing shift and the key that is above our enter together, then we get this symbol. So A or B is 1, 0 or 1 is 1, as we have seen earlier. And here we have XOR. XOR returns 0 if both the bits are same, that is if both are 0, it returns 0, and if both are 1 also, it returns 0. But if both are different, it is going to return 1. Since here our A and B are different, we have 0 and 1, A XOR B is going to return 1. And NOT operation, it returns the 1's complement, that is adding 1 to the binary representation of the value and then inverts its sign. Here we have NOT of A, here A is 0. By adding 1 to the binary representation, we get it as 1, and then inverting its sign, it becomes -1. The same thing with C. Here we have initialized C as -3. So print NOT of C, it is going to print 2. This is the left shift and right shift operators. So left shift, here we have initialized value D is equal to 3. So we can use it here, D left shift of 1. So here we have print D left shift of n. It prints the value by multiplying it with D with 2 to the power of n. Here n is, here in our case n is 1. So when we print D left shift of 1, it is going to print 3 into 2 power 1. So that is 6. And when we print D left shift of 2, here the same thing, here n is 2, so 3 into 4, that is 12. And when we print the left shift is for multiplication, and here now right shift is for division. The same thing happens here, but instead of multiplying it, just divides it here. So here we have given E is equal to 50. So E right shift of 1, it is going to divide by 2 power 1. So 50 by 2 power 1 is 25. And again E right shift of 2, 50 by 2 power 2, that is 4. It gives us 12.5, but it rounds off to the lower integer value of the result, that is we get 12 here. Now we have come to our last topic, that is taking user inputs. User inputs we can take by just a simple method called input. Like here we can see A is equal to input, that takes input from the keyboard instead of directly assigning. So it takes string values by default. We have to typecast it in order to convert it into any other values so that we can use for any mathematical calculations, etc. Like here we have done int of input. So we need to typecast, as I've told, and typecasting is nothing but converting from one appropriate data type to another. So let's just execute some programs and we will understand more deeper. So here we see user inputs. A is equal to input, so it takes string by default. When we print type of A, it says string. So here we took another input, so b is equal to int of input, but we have typecasted it into int, so we cannot give any other alphabets. So when we give 43, it says class int, and here you have given float of input, so it is typecasting into float. So when we give 2.33, like we execute and see, it is going to take input like this from here. We can give our whatever value we want from here, 2.45. We press enter, and here we get it as float, and it prints the same value again. So when we print the int of c, when we convert this c variable into int, it is going to remove whatever is there after the decimal point, and then it is going to print. See, we get 2 here. So you can practice all these operations by taking user inputs, so that you will be more familiar with taking user inputs, because in real life we will be taking inputs from the user. So you must be very familiar with taking user inputs. You can practice all of these by taking user inputs. And thank you. If you like my content interesting and good, so please do like, share, and subscribe. And please do mention your comments for improvements in coming videos. Thank you.